sometimes the Lord will use that pain to make you grow, you know. But the Bible says we will conquer us through Him, you know. Seeing it all. Lord, use that pain to make me grow. See the devil on me close. I done lived that way before. I can't fold. I can't go. Looking back, it could've been different for sure. Been around that block for real. I done seen a lot for real. Could've felt them shots for real. Teddy bears on my block for real. That grace and mercy real. Like new birth for real. Hung from the cross to say the lost some streets they hurt for real. Lord, use that pain. Lord, use that pain to make me grow. I done been through everything, but that grave protect my soul. Had to change that road. I done lost some homies to them jails and lost some to them poles. I could've been dead and gone. Grace and mercy held me strong. I done been down before. I done felt that rain that helped me grow. I used to be doing the most. Till Christ He came and saved my soul. Came out them streets for sure. Ain't no real love up in them streets for real. From A to Z, we did it all. Ain't nothing to see for real. Blood covered me from catching them shots. OG with a tweak for real. Now I'm out here preaching on the same blocks where I used to be for real. Lord, use that pain to make me grow. See the devil on me close. I done lived that way before. I can't fold. I can't go. Looking back, it could've been different for sure. Been around that block for real. I done seen a lot for real. Could've felt them shots for real. Teddy bears on my block for real. That grace and mercy real. Like new birth for real. Hung from the cross to say the lost some streets they hurt for real. Lord, use that pain.
Yeah. Got umbrellas when we standing in the rain. We not the same. Yeah. All this trauma I've been dealing with, this pain I'm unashamed. Yeah. I need you now, I know it's power in your name, ain't got no aim. Yeah. I'm really feeling dark, my soul is for the flames. Never thought it could've been different. Boy, I took a lot of L's cause I never did listen. Try to get it right with God, live my life as a Christian. Try to fill these empty voids, tell me what am I missing. Blood was popping like a soda can. I'm getting older, man. Really needing closure, man. I'm getting closer, man. Kick a door, they hopped out them Ray-Bans. House full of kids.
All right, testing 1 2, check 1 2. Let's see what we got, man. Testing. Make sure we good. Let's see. Peace to y'all. Let's see. Give me 1 second. All right, where my book at? That's what I'm gonna need. All right, y'all, I'm here now. We good. We good now. Yeah, we good now. All right. We at it again. Another week. We got another lesson for you. Word of Wisdom Wednesday. Today's lesson, or quick little wisdom we got on the table for you. Brotherhood. And, we hear that a lot. Even, when we start reading our Bibles and, call ourselves coming into the fold. We talk about brotherhood and fellowship and family, even to a fault. And we'll do this in our own family, even to a fault. Where, the fact that we brothers override everything. And that can bleed into the so-called, that can bleed into the word, really. Or a so-called word, because, everybody think they're in the word. So I say so-called. Where you could overlook everything that someone does or says because, that's your brother or your sister. But when it comes to people we don't know, we have no problem with throwing a book at them. But really, we're going to look at a little bit of judgment. Of course, we like to deal with that a lot. We're going to deal with a little bit of how we're supposed to communicate with one another as well when it comes to judgment and things like that. All right. So let's deal with it. Let's start with Exodus 19. Because we're supposed to be a nation of kings and priests. We are a nation of kings and priests. We're supposed to be. So we got to know how to judge appropriately regardless of who is in front of us. Because I was under the notion that, in Matthew 7, when the Lord said, I never knew you, I was under the notion that we, in the first resurrection, would be on that same type of stuff. Even though, he's not really talking about that. Because even when he resurrected, he knew exactly who his family was. It was just a parable to show that people that think they know or claim they know Christ, it's not accurate. And they thought they was doing, different type of works in his name and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, I never knew you. And, those that follow his commandments is those he know. And all of his commandments, not just a couple rituals, not just a couple days here and there that we observe, completely. Because in James, it tells us if you break one law, you're guilty of them all. So if we know that's the case, then we can't let anything slide. So just like we would deal with somebody we ain't that close with, we don't let nothing slide. But when it comes to our so-called brother or sister, we let certain things slide. That can't happen. But let's go into Exodus 19. Let's go to Exodus 19 real quick. Exodus 19. So we're gonna look at fellowship a little bit as well. We'll look at a couple things in the little time we got. So this is Exodus 19 and 5. Exodus 19 and 5. So he says, now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. So pay attention here. He said, if you keep my covenant and obey my voice indeed. So you got to keep his covenant. His covenant is founded on the laws he established in the following chapter, in Leviticus. And the ones he would include in this chapter here. But it's all in Leviticus and Deuteronomy. But anyway, verse 6, he said, and you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. So the only time you would be really referred to as a holy nation or qualified to be a king or a part of a kingdom of priests. The only time you'd be qualified or considered a kingdom of priests or a priest, you would have to keep his covenant. Now let's go to Revelations. And we're going to come back to the law after that. But let's go to Revelations 1. Just show you the Bible saying the same thing. I'm in Jude. Revelations 1. Revelations 1 and verse 3. And we'll read verse 3 just to go into this lesson because we dealt with the kingdom being at hand last week. Revelations 1 and 3 said, blessed is he that readeth And they that hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So this is John thousands of years ago saying the time is at hand already. Let's skip on down to verse 5. And from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and have made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So he said he made us both kings and priests here. Same thing he was saying in Exodus. But how are you qualified? It just let us know the blood of the covenant, of course, and also keeping of the covenant. Because he said in verse 3, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein. Well, you keep the word of God, synonymous with keeping his covenant. And then you would be a king and priest in the earth, right? So when it comes to being a king and priest, you got to judge correctly, right? So let's go to Proverbs 15. This will help as well. And this will go back to the previous week about learning in silence. We read it before. We read it actually at that time. We'll read it one more time. Proverbs 15. Proverbs 15 and 28. It says, the heart of the righteous studieth to answer. So you consider everything before you speak on it. Even before you answer someone, because folks want you to answer that there in that moment. That's not always the case. They don't have to do that. You got to give people time to think it through. But the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. So that when it comes to judging or brotherhood, you could speak quickly because you know them. Oh yeah, I know that sister right there. I know that brother. That's that's easy. I ain't even got to think about it. No, you do have to think about it. Because all have sinned, right? You do have to think about it, actually. Because it says, the heart of the righteous studieth to answer. Now, cool. Let's go into Leviticus chapter 6. Leviticus chapter 6. And we'll get into it. This is the groundwork. We always try to build the case first a little bit before we go right into things, right? We're going to try to get into it. Leviticus 6. Now remember, in order for you to be a king and priest, you must keep the covenant of God, right? So pay attention to this here. Leviticus chapter 6. Leviticus chapter 6 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, if a soul sin and commit a trespass against the Lord. Let's see how you can trespass against the Lord. And lie unto his neighbor. So you are sinning against God if you lie to your neighbor. So you could be defending somebody because that's your brother. And I'm coming at it this way because that's how we use the word brother or sister or brotherhood. That's how we use it. Like no matter what, I'm going to side with you type stuff because we brothers. That's not it, actually. You wouldn't be fit to be a judge. You're not currently fit to be a judge if that's the mindset you operating in. Oh yeah, we brothers. You know, we brothers. So I'm with you. Let's see though. If a soul sin and commit a trespass against the Lord and lie unto his neighbor. Now, do we have to define neighbor? We should, huh? We should. We will, Lord willing. If a soul sin and commit a trespass against the Lord and lie unto his neighbor in that which was delivered him to keep, or in fellowship, or in a thing that, or in a thing taken away by violence, or have deceived his neighbor. So you in fellowship with somebody that deceived his neighbor or took something from somebody, or you lying to your neighbor. You are an error. You're not fit to be a judge, but what? We brothers. We fam. We family. So I got you. But this is the subtleness Deceitfulness, excuse me, a sin right here. You looking out. That's my brother, It's brotherhood. He said again, if a soul sin and commit a trespass against the Lord and lie unto his neighbor in that which was delivered him to keep, or in fellowship, or in a thing taken away by violence, or have deceived his neighbor, or have found that which was lost, and lieth concerning it. You could be defending somebody doing this type of stuff. But this is what this euphoria or feeling of acceptance and brotherhood, it'll have you doing this. Now, we're not about to do a lesson where I just look for the word brotherhood. That's not it. We're looking at the spirit of the lesson. We're dealing with how this term is used. That, you good, you my mans. So I'm gonna ride with you regardless. But you can't be a judge. And we're going to get to it. Watch. He said, or have found that which, verse 3, or have found that which was lost and lied concerning it, and swear falsely, and any of all these that a man doeth, sinning therein. Let's go into Deuteronomy 25. We're supposed to be kings and priests in the earth. But if we show our favoritism, because we family, we brothers. You're not fit for that. So let's get into a real life, real world example. This is the real deal. What is expected of us as so-called believers in God. That's what's up. All right. Wish I could see all these joints. All right. Deuteronomy 23 and verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 25. Deuteronomy chapter 25 verse 1. If there be a controversy between men and they come unto judgment, that the judges may judge them. So this is the type of stuff you will be dealing with if you are privileged enough or fortunate enough to make it. And this is our hope, right? That will be on the judge side, Because he said the saints going to judge the world, right? Even judge angels. So you can be telling them what to do. But he said if there be a controversy between men and they come unto judgment, that the judges may judge them. Then shall they justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. See, this is your statute. If you are to be a judge, which the Lord hath made you, this is how you have to operate. How is the Lord going to determine if you're worthy or not to do it when he comes? When he reveals himself? By your ability to do it now in the flesh. This is the proving ground. You shall justify the righteous in that case of controversy and condemn who? The wicked. It don't matter if you know the person. You think these judges didn't have family members and friends coming up to them? That's what you're going to have. That's what you're going to have. And you can't be like, oh, that's Ray, man. Hey, PCR watching. That's Ray, man. That's my man. You know what I mean? You won't tell nobody that, but you will operate in that way. Nah, he good. You will try to sway the decision. But you can't. You won't make it. Verse 2, look what it say. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down. And to be beaten before his face. Could you do this? Could you do this to your brother? Do you have that in your heart to do it to your brother? Could you actually do it? Because this is real life. What the Lord really expects of us. Oh, we're not doing that now. Okay, you're not beating nobody. Okay, but you can at least tell somebody the truth, can't you? That should be easy to do, right? But it seems like that's hard nowadays. It seems like the closer you are to somebody, the less truth you tell them. And that's really strange, because if they're really your partner or your brother or sister, when I say brotherhood, when I use brotherhood, I'm confusing everybody, brethren. It seems like if that was your brother, they would listen. So you shouldn't be scared to tell them. But you realize y'all probably not really brothers. You know why? Because it seems like when you tell somebody did something wrong, now he just telling you everything he don't like about you. Peace, y'all. I see you. Maybe that's why. Well, then y'all probably really not friends though. You know, folks hit you with a lot of, you know, flattery. You know what I mean? That's what they hit you with. Hey, look, that's what they hit you with. Can you see this? Hey, big bro, what's good, big bro? You know, we don't buy that. People say everything, man, until you tell them about themselves. Now, what happened to big bro? What happened? Thought we was cool. Now it's all you this and that. You think you this and that. It has nothing to do with it. Again, he said, you shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. Verse 2 again, and it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down. As you as a judge, can you call your family or your friend, your brother to be beaten? Matter of fact, check this out. It says, and to be beaten before his face. What if you the beater? What if you the beater? Ah, man, I can't do this, my man. Well, then what you think will happen to you? See, this brotherhood could get us in, the way it's being used, could get us in some trouble. To where we can't even execute judgment. We can't even tell nobody the truth because, you know, we brothers. You know what I mean? I don't want to offend them. But you offend somebody that you don't know. You offend somebody that don't know as much as you think they should know. You offend anybody who's ignorant. You offend them left and right. But when it comes to your so-called brother, where you could be saving his life, you like, nah, man, I can't do it. But you would have to do this. You have to be the beater. What if you're the beater? He said, and to be beaten before his face according to his fault by a certain number. 40 stripes he may give him and not exceed, lest if he should exceed and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother should seem vile unto thee. Well, shoot, I think nowadays, folks, brothers so sensitive. I don't even call them brothers. The dudes are so sensitive that you might act like you gonna hit the brother. He want to bring up all your whatever so-called whatever you done to him out of the blue. Like, man, I didn't even know. Man, I didn't know you felt like this. But thank you for telling me the truth. I was talking to a brother, and I can get personal with y'all. You know what I mean? We fair. I was talking to a brother the other day. Man. And I forgot what I was about to say. I just forgot what I was about to say. Anyway, you can even act like you about to hit him, and then y'all not cool. But look, you have to do this though, brother. But let's see how far this brotherhood don't go. Let's go to Revelations, and then we're gonna go to another place, and then we'll wrap it up. Like I said, this is little words of wisdom. You going after people you don't know when your brother right under your nose doing whatever, right? And I don't talk to anybody, so I wouldn't know specifically. And it's not even about that, you know. Folks be like, man, I thought you were talking about, man, bruh, no, I'm not. Revelations 3. Revelations 3. Matter of fact, yeah. Revelations 2, then 3. So let's go to Revelations 2 and verse 9. Revelations 2 and verse 9. Yeah, you probably wasn't supposed to hear what he said. It wasn't even nothing bad, though. It was just, I forgot what I was saying to him, but it wasn't relevant, I guess. So it's all good. So he said in Revelations chapter 2 and verse 9, he says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. Now, is it only black folks in poverty? Okay. I didn't think it was just black folks in tribulation and poverty. I didn't think so. He said, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Let's go to Romans chapter 3. We're going to come back to Revelation, then we're going to go somewhere else. brothers and sisters. Romans 3. You know, folks read that script and go to, oh yes, it's the Ashkenazis. Okay. Revelations 3, let's see. It might be, is it 2 or 3? Let's see. It's 2 or 3. It might be 2 though. Yeah, Romans 2. Just want to tell you something here. Romans 2 and 28. Romans chapter 2, verse 28. He said, for he is not a Jew, which is one hourly. I know folks that say they Jews, but they lying. I know. So everybody must not be your brother then. Because of their skin. What? All skin folk ain't what? Kinfolk. For he is not a Jew, which is one hourly. Neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. Where's it at then? But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly. And circumcision is that of the heart, a new conscience, right? A changed conscience, where you don't even have to think twice, right? So imagine you being a judge. You're not thinking about if this is your man's or your brother or not, because you are a Jew or you have been circumcised inwardly. That stony heart or that heart of flesh has been cut off, and you're not even thinking from a fleshly perspective. You're condemning the wicked and justifying the righteous. You're not even thinking. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God. It's not no fleshly matter. It's not no physical matter. It's all spiritual. There you go. All skin folk and kinfolk for sure. So now let's go back to Revelations. Let's go to the 3rd chapter of Revelations, brother. And I'm being funny. Revelations 3. Revelations 3 and verse 9. It's going to be a hard pill to swallow when the Lord reveals himself and you've been mistreating your neighbor because he had different skin. Revelations 3 and 9. He said, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. So everybody must not be your brother, even though they're Israelite, or they call themselves an Israelite or a Jew. It couldn't. They must not be, because he said a Jew is one inwardly, right? Okay, I'm pretty sure John knew that, and the angel that told John, I'm pretty sure he knew that, right? Because the angels were there when Paul said what he said in Acts 15. He said the Holy Ghost agreed with how we was treating the Gentiles. They got to abstain from idols and things sacrificed and things strangled and fornication. He said the Holy Ghost agreed with us. Yeah, that's it. So the same angel, or it might not be the same angel, but he's up there in heaven, bear record as well. Whoever's iterating this to John, he said, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Wow. This is some good stuff. Let's go into, I don't even know what, I'm telling you, I don't know. Let's go into 2 Kings for 1 Kings. Maybe 2 Chronicles we want. Let's try 2 Chronicles 19, I think. 2 Chronicles 18. 2 Chronicles 18. 2 Chronicles 18. Now, this is about Jehoshaphat and Ahab. Ahab was a wicked king, right? He operated, these is rulers, right? These is what we would call presidents in our time, or prime ministers, all that. And this is when you got to understand. This is why you got to understand the Bible from a political aspect, a social political aspect, because these are kings. They sit in the government seat. Now, what Ahab did, he used his government power to take a man's inheritance and had him killed. For what? What was it? that they killed him for. Dang. It was like conspiracy against the government or the king. Dang, it's that word, man. It's the political word or a term. Dang, it was treachery or something. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, he was a wicked ruler, wicked king, wicked president. And you had Jehoshaphat, who was a righteous man. He was going to join affinity with a wicked individual. But they both Israelites. They brothers. So it said, this is 2 Chronicles 18:1. And Jehoshaphat had riches and honor and abundance and joined affinity with Ahab. In certain years he went down to Ahab to Samaria. And Ahab killed sheep and oxen for him in abundance and for the people that he had with him, and persuaded him to go up with him to Ramoth Gilead. And Ahab, king of Israel, said unto Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, wilt thou go with me to Ramoth Gilead? And he answered him, I am as thou art, and my people as thy people, and we will be with thee in the war. Oh, we the same people. My people, your people, your people, my people. We all brothers. We all Israelites. Stick together, baby. Brother. Okay, let's see what the answer was. This is after the fact. Let's go to the 19th chapter. And verse 1. 2 Chronicles 19 and verse 1. And Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, returned to his house in peace to Jerusalem. And Jehu, the son of Hanani, the seer, went out to meet him and said to King Jehoshaphat, shouldest thou help the ungodly? Why is this even a thing? It's from the Lord. Shouldest thou help the ungodly? He didn't say, why you help your brother? Because y'all brothers. Why didn't he say, good job? Brother, that's your brother. Good job. Treason. There you go, Vitae Films. Yes, sir. They accuse him of committing treason. That is a offense. That's an offense dealing with politics and conspiracy against the king. So when you say the Bible ain't political, you're incorrect. It is very political. But he said in verse 2, and Jehu, the son of Hanani, the seer, went out to meet him and said to King Jehoshaphat, shouldest thou help the ungodly and love them that hate the Lord? Wait a minute, brother. See, I'm going to make them of the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are lie and do lie. He ain't no son of God or no servant of God. Even though he an Israelite, he working for Satan. Ahab was. He said, and love them that hate the Lord, therefore is wrath upon thee from before the Lord. So forget all that joining up or being friends because we got the same skin or we know we Israelites. Or we say we believe in God. So as long as you believe in God. How is it proven that you believe in God? Remember, we read in Leviticus 6. We done with that in 2 Chronicles. Just reiterate Leviticus 6. He said, verse 2, if a soul sin and committed trespass against the Lord and lie unto his neighbor in that which was delivered him to keep or in fellowship. But you say, oh yeah, we both love God. But somebody stole from me and you know it because he told you or you seen it and that's your man so you didn't say nothing. But we all brothers because we believe in God. That's not true. That's not, you can say you believe in God. That don't mean you believe him because you say it. That don't make us brothers because folks call on God or folks got a Bible in their hand. Their actions show. Let's go to, Titus? Maybe Titus 1, maybe? As a matter of fact, yeah, let me go, because I made a statement. We're gonna go somewhere else after this. Go to Titus. Go to Titus 1. Go to Titus 1 and verse 16. Titus 1 and 16. I'm going to read something else too. Yep, I knew it. Verse 16. So this goes to show all that we call on God, so we brothers, garbage. Titus 1 and 16. They profess that they know God. Well, he say he know him. He read the Bible. But he not doing it though. Perverting judgment left and right. So that's your brother? You agree with him, huh? Yep. Because he trying. How long are you trying though? You either gonna do it or you're not. How long? Folks always they pick and choose when they want to use words. It depends on who they talking to. Yeah, he trying though. He trying. And she did all this for this long. She got a good reputation. She did all this. Ain't none of that. When we read in Deuteronomy 25, was they asking about anybody's reputation? They was like, oh yeah, man. Well, she did a lot in Israel. Or, yeah, he did a lot in Israel. Was that in Deuteronomy 25? Was it like, oh yeah, man, well, you did do a lot. Yeah, you did a lot. So we go, no, That's not how it works. Is that what you say? You don't. You try to throw the book at anybody you see that don't know nothing. That'd be the trip. Titus 1 and 16. They profess that they know God, but in words they deny him, being abominable and disobedient. Remember, in Exodus 19, in order for you to be the judge or a king or a nation of priests or a priest, you would have to keep the covenant of God. What if you're abominable and disobedient? Did you know that work in Leviticus 6 where you in fellowship of a thing taken or stolen from somebody? You know that's an abominable work, right? You call on God all you want to. But if anybody stealing from their neighbor or in fellowship of some wickedness, we not brothers. That's not your brother. Let's see. Let's go to John 8. These brothers here thought the same thing. John 8. Let's go to John 8. John 8. John 8 and verse 32. John 8 and 32. He said, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Verse 33, they answered him, we be Abraham's seed. We Israelites. And were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, you shall be made free? Jesus answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is a servant of sin. So you're not a servant of mine. Verse 37, he said, I know that you are Abraham's seed, but you seek to kill me, because my word have no place in you. I speak that which I have seen with my father, and you do that which you have seen with your father. They answered him and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Jesus said unto them, if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. So what make you related then? The works. How can you call yourself being in fellowship or in relationship with a fellow believer or a believer if you're not doing the work? Right? He said in Amos 3, can two walk together lest they be agreed? We're not walking together if I don't agree with you. We're not brothers, none of that. And I don't have, I'm just talking about myself. I don't have no problem not walking with nobody. No problem. Folks say what they want to say, to do what you want to do. I have no problem. Because we're supposed to be Abraham's seed, right? The seed of the promise. Right? And we have to do that works of Abraham, right? In Genesis, you read justice and judgment, executing it throughout the earth. That's what you're supposed to do. So let's go into Psalms 55. And we're just going to look at the mouthpiece here. Word of mouth, their mouth. You know what I mean? Folks tell you they love you. Don't fall for it. They'll show you. They'll show you if they love you or not. Psalms 55, verse 20. Psalm 55 and 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. And you don't even have to, like I was mentioning about telling the truth to people. You're not trying to start no problem. Yeah, wolves in sheep's clothing, the session of being one of y'all. Yeah, that's, be the ones of your own. Be your own, your familiar friend, right? Matter of fact, I'll comment on what you just posted here. There be of your own, one of your own deceiving you, right? Before we get to the next part, we in Psalms 55, let's read verse 11. He said, wickedness is in the midst thereof, deceit and guile depart not from her streets. For it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me, then I would have hid myself from him. I would have seen him coming. But it was thou, a man mine equal, my God and mine acquaintance. It said we took sweet counsel together and walked into the house of God in company. We was cool. We went to the house of the Lord together. But it's the same one that reproached me. So y'all that calling on God, that mean we family? No, it don't. Let's get back down to verse 21. Verse 20, excuse me. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. Verse 21, pay attention. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Family, we family, brothers. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Don't let that folks saying we brother stuff fool you. Don't let that brotherhood stuff fool you. Because if somebody's operating in wickedness and you in righteousness, that's not your brother. The only way you brothers with a wicked man is if you wicked too. That's it. We can't make it up. That's it. You are in fellowship with the evil. So that means you evil too. It ain't, oh yeah, he just evil. I'm just doing my own thing. Eventually there's going to come a time where you got to make a decision. It really don't work that way. He said light and dark can't abide together, right? Eventually it's going to come to a point. Now if the darkness, you think yourself to be in light, and somebody you dealing with or in fellowship with in darkness, and y'all cool together, then you might not really be in the light then. Because the Bible don't change. It can't be wrong. Light and darkness cannot cohabitate. Brother. Let's go into Proverbs 6. This is how we're going to show you how to operate with your brother, right? Or your neighbor. Proverbs 6. Proverbs 6 and 1. He said, my son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger. So you agree with, you was going with your brother, he's going to do something, you agreed to it, and you end up switching up and doing it with a stranger. You agreed to something. Verse 2, what it say? Thou art snared with the words of thy mouth. Thou art taken with the words of thy mouth. Whoa, what happened? We agreed already to do this. You went with a stranger. It wasn't you a part of this. You switched up on me. So instead of saying, oh man, it's not, I made a mistake. You're going to be all right. Folks don't even tell you they made a mistake. They be like, man, just get, it's cool, bro. It's cool. Why you always got to be cool when somebody else do the wrong thing to you? Don't I look out for you? Ain't we brothers? Ain't that's how they say. They don't apologize or nothing. But what are you supposed to do? Verse 3. Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself when thou art come into the hand of thy friend. Go, humble thyself and make sure thy friend. Brother, that's what real brothers do. You know, folks coming with excuses why they don't do it. Oh, yeah, you know, the brother won't listen, man. How you know? You ain't say nothing to him. That's the same thing Ezekiel tried to tell the Lord, or Jeremiah tried to tell the Lord. Both of them. Ezekiel specifically what I'm talking about. He said they ain't going to listen. He said whether they hear or forbear. You got to tell them. But it's not no fly-by-night, one-hit-quitter stuff you think you telling somebody something. That's what I don't get it. Folks to try to come with something act like, yeah, man, you know, I got one scripture to shut this down. Obviously, you don't know what you're talking about. It don't never work like that. He said out of the mouth of two or three. He said, yeah, I got one scripture, man, you know. And that's all you got. Don't even understand what you're saying. And when somebody don't listen to you, oh, yeah, you know, that brother don't listen. Oh, yeah, that sister don't listen. No, maybe you don't know what you're talking about, actually. Maybe you need to listen. Let's go to Proverbs 25, because you can't be hasty. Folks be hasty, right? They be hasty with everybody else but their brother. But that's the one you're supposed to be looking out for, right? Proverbs 25. Proverbs 25. You know, we got a couple more. Maybe. Proverbs 25 and 8. Look what it say here. Just pay attention. Go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof. So don't think you done heard something or seen something and try to jump on somebody. You can end up being ashamed. I didn't experience this before. I done seen it happen. Folks jump on somebody and they end up being ashamed once they find out the real deal. Go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof when thy neighbor have put thee to shame. Don't get yourself caught out there trying to be hasty, think you done found or seen something or running with something you heard. It's very important. The righteous do what? Studieth to what? Answer. The wicked, what do? They just pour out foolishness. They pour out evil things is what it say. But we just showing you how to deal with your brother. Let's read the next verse. This is what we really here for. Verse 9. Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself and discover not a secret to another. Everybody like to talk to everybody else but the one they should be talking to. You discovering secrets to everybody else. But nobody holds you accountable anymore. Like this is what Solomon is describing. Somebody actually going to hold you accountable when you're doing it. Let's read the accountability. Verse 10. Lest he that heareth it put thee to shame, and thy infamy turn not away. See, when you hold people accountable, they will be ashamed talking to you about somebody else that they ain't even talked to about. You're like, man, bro, what are you talking to me about it for? This your mindset? This is who you really is? Then nobody want to tell nobody, hold nobody accountable. So you do as you please. And you just, all this wickedness continues. It's like a snowball. Like in that old movie with Martin, National Security. He was like, lies just compound lies. Lies compound lies. See, when you're not held accountable, lies just compound lies. When you should make somebody feel ashamed for doing that if you're really looking out. You shouldn't be doing that. All right, we'll end it here in Luke 12. Luke 12, we'll see. Y'all go to Luke. I might go somewhere else. Just real quick. Y'all go to Luke 12. I'll meet you over there. Yeah, let's read. Yeah, we'll read one more after this. All right, Luke. What I say, Luke 12? What I say, Luke 12? It ain't gonna, we gonna cut it off after this. I ain't gonna go that deep. Lord willing, have to do something longer eventually. But let's go to Luke 14. Luke 14. Luke 14, and then we'll go to Matthew 12 after this. Luke 14 and 25. And you can also write down Luke chapter 10 with the stranger. He took care. He said, which one? He said, who was my brother? Or who was my neighbor? And he mentioned the parable of the Samaritan. That's who your brother is, the one that's really looking out for you. And he don't necessarily know you. That's your brother. But anyway, Luke 14 and 25. Luke 14, verse 25. And there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. So when it says hating, it's not like you trying to hurt nobody, but you just prefer them less when it comes to Christ. You have to do what Christ wants you to do above. You have to esteem his words above whatever your family, brothers, or whatever wants you to do. You got to do the right thing. And that's a part of self-denial, which is verse 27. And whosoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be myself. So in another place he'll say, if you don't deny yourself. So you bearing your cross is self-denial. What you feel in your flesh you want to do because of this and that and y'all relationship or whatever, that has to go. You have to do what God said, brother. Now let's go to Matthew 12. Even Paul tell you that in 1 Corinthians 5. If a brother is seen to be, if a brother, he a drunkard or he a reveler or he a fornicator, he said you're not supposed to even eat with these folks. But what you say, oh yeah, man, we got to go to church. Okay. Well, if you feel that way, at least execute the judgment then. Say something to him or her, whoever. And then if they don't listen, they supposed to leave. Right? But what if nobody, what if they don't leave? What if the powers that be defending them? What do you do then? You stay there and agree, or you realize you're in a wicked situation and you separate yourself? Remember, you can't love nobody more than God. And if you think you're sinning against God by getting away from wickedness, then that shows you've been taught wrong. Matthew 12. And I'm not speaking for anybody. I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know what it is. Matthew 12. Matthew chapter 12, and this is it. You know what? We got to finish here. See, this brotherhood stuff is dangerous. That's a dangerous spirit. The brotherhood spirit. That's what I should have named it. The brotherhood spirit. Matthew 12 and 43. Look at this. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places seeking rest and findeth none. So he's talking about an unclean spirit. See, that's how you know if you're a brother or not, or you got brethren. Man, look what he said. Verse 44. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Oh, bro, cleaned his act up. Okay, sure, we got it. Oh, this looks sweet. And this is what, when people return back to their vomit, now you escape a place or you escape a lifestyle, and because you feel good when you're around them, I was like, man, can't nothing be wrong with this. I feel, it's like, oh, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. And you feel good. Because it can feel good to the flesh, don't it? Because your mind ain't been changed yet. That's all. But what is really happening on the inside spiritually, the devil came back with 7 of them. 7 more. That's why you back with the devils feeling comfortable with the rest of them. Hootie-hoo! Lord willing, that could never be me. I'm speaking for myself because I can. This is the only person I really know like that. I can speak for myself. Lord willing, it never be me. Could never be me, Lord willing. I don't care who you is, from a childhood on up. If you on some wicked stuff, bro, I'm not around, man. I'm not around. Verse 45, because if I start feeling good, not just go back into a certain lifestyle. That's a bad sign. It's not a good thing. Verse 45. Then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. Oh man, there's a lot worse. That's why it's harder to leave after the second time. You better get out your feelings. I'm not talking to nobody specific. I'm saying in general. Get out your feelings. Because what he said about your feelings or your heart? Desperately wicked. It'll deceive you above anything on the planet. It'll deceive you more than anything. The most deceitful thing on the planet. I'm going to read this one verse of 2 Peter. You ain't got to follow me. Stay right there where you at. 2 Peter 2. You can just write it down if you want. 2 Peter 2. Or you can come with me. Don't matter. Most of y'all got phones anyway. 2 Peter 2 and 20. It says, for if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, they are again entangled therein and overcome. That spirit, this is just a sign of it. It's not limited to brotherhood, but we're just attacking this part. This brotherhood to get you back into something you overcame. Because it feel good. We was talking about somebody, you know, you got folks got problem with alcohol and all that, and you a bunch around a bunch of so-called brothers, and they sitting here drinking. No, you just overcame a drinking problem. If there's really your brothers, why they couldn't put the drink down when you around? Why they can't hold off on that? And then what happened? Brothers and sisters end up spiraling back into. You just became worse. You have to separate, brother. He said they are entangled therein and overcome. The latter end is worse than them. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. All right, we're going to go back to Matthew 12 and end it here. Verse 46. Matthew 12 and 46. He said, while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother, thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with him. He said, oh, that's my family. I got to stop. Verse 48. But he answered and said unto him that told him, now tell me, who is my mother and who are my brethren? Tell me that. You said they want to see me, right? Tell me who they are. Let me tell you, since you don't know. And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples, the followers that he was going to set free, that were set free by the truth. Wow. And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. Who are these people? For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven. See, it's much more than a Sabbath day and a feast day. You better believe it. Because we read in Leviticus 6, that was some light work. And that wasn't talking about no Sabbath day or no feast day. That was talking about some literal social interaction that you could get involved with on a daily basis or any day. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and my mother. So if you're not doing the will of God, that ain't your brother. If you call yourself doing the will of God and they not, that's not your brother. We're not brothers. We're not. We're not brothers. We're none of that. We're none of that. If I'm doing the will of God and striving and you over here messing around and you gonna call me brother, you know, we keep this, man, we ain't brothers. It don't matter. I don't care about nobody asking me how I'm doing. You could appear like you care and all that. Folks be like, yeah, man, somebody asks about you. I don't care. I don't care. We're not brothers. Okay? We're not brothers. All right. That was Word of Wisdom Wednesday.